Give me the Mavericks here at home. I think they're going to get the job done. What's going on, guys? NBA Finals Game 5. I told you guys we'd get there. Mavericks on the money line was my free pick in the last video. That brings our official NBA postseason record to 24-16 just on the free picks. Definitely hit that like button, guys. Let's try to get 500 likes on today's video. I'm going to update that whiteboard and try to get you guys some more money in your pocket. Man, they took the bribe, didn't they? The NHL as well. So the Oilers beat the Panthers 8-1. 8-1 in hockey in an NHL finals. And then the Mavericks winning by, what was it, 50 or something, 40-50 in the last game. They took the bribe. Anybody who thinks there isn't a little bit of outside influence in these large billion-dollar industries, you're a little bit crazy. I'm a little bit crazy too, but guess what? I win most of my wagers. All the updated numbers on the bottom of the screen. It was a great week in SoBet. Last 7 days, I have 5 winning days over on SoBet. But I'll tell you what, guys, we have thrown some money out the fucking window in baseball lately. Man, it's like half a run here or half a run there or half a run short. It's just insane. Like today, for an example, we had the Astros -1.5 at plus money. Easy cash. We had Astros team total over 4.5. 4 runs after 2 innings and not a single run after that. Comes up short by half a run, the team total over. It's stuff like this. The Padres, their official no bet list. 78-71 is my official MLB record for this season. So still a little bit in profit, guys, but it has been unacceptable, and I am more determined than ever to start this week off on a much, much better note and to finish this entire month of June in the green, because all the green from the start of the month has just about gone out of the window. I got to double check my numbers and stuff. We might even be a little bit in the red for the month in terms of baseball, but this is not a baseball video. If you guys are interested in all my picks every single day, again, link always in the description of my videos, danspicks.net. Entire week, man, $30 an entire month, less than $100. It's a great value, and it will be an absolute steal for football season, but let's not get too ahead of ourselves here, guys. We got some basketball, potentially even more than just this game. I don't think it's crazy. And if you guys think back to the last video, I told you at plus 1,200 odds, I didn't think it was insane that the Celtics, they're not going to win here, but they'll actually go back to Dallas and win it on the road, a 6-2, not 6-2, Celtics in 6, a 4-2 series prediction back prior to that game 4 going off was plus 1,200. Did I actually bet it? No, I didn't have the balls. And, kind of when you're struggling a little bit in baseball, you can't really just take those flyers, right? Sometimes when it's been a great week, great 2 weeks, great month, and, I'm way up a whole bunch of units, I'll sprinkle half a unit on something a little bit more risky. But right now, I'm shrinking down the volume. This week is going to be, 3 or 4 plays maximum each day, the best stuff I can find, and just to try almost every single day to go at least 3-1 there and actually start making some progress and get back into the positive for baseball. Love the way I'm seeing the board. Love these picks. And, we get half a game right, and then things melt down. We get 7 innings good, and then the rest. Or we get a bad start, and the team comes back, and they fight. They just don't quite get there. So baseball is what it is. That's baseball. And that's why my unit size in baseball is $100. That's why on average in the football season, I bet over $1,000 per unit. You guys see all the bet slips that I posted from last year, and I'll be doing that this year as well. Don't worry about it. Let's get into this game, guys, before I ramble too fucking long. Took a couple days off. It was a long fucking weekend, a lot going on. We got a big game here, a spread of 6.5. Let me just say this. If we had 8 points, if we had 7.5 or 8.5, I think it'd be a pretty big, heavy play on the Mavericks. I do like the points with the Mavericks in this game, but 6.5 is starting to shave down the value, in my opinion. I do think that the first half, Jesus Christ. Back to what I was saying, guys, with the points here. I do think it's a fair amount of points we're getting with the Mavericks. Mentality. You guys can look at the full season. We have a full regular season of statistics. We can look at all the playoffs, everything up until this point. But I think the most important thing when you guys are gauging how this game is going to go is where you think the mentality is for both of these teams. I want to bring up something very important. When you're trying to close out a series and you just need one more game, I think it's hard. I think sometimes the lid can be on the basket when you just have to win one more game. I think it's harder than people realize. It's actually the team that's so far down that doesn't have the pressure because it's so unrealistic that the Mavericks could come back in this series that they don't really have any pressure. Right now, they've avoided the sweep, so that's off their back. Now the pressure of even being swept, there was a little bit of pressure there in that game 4 in Dallas because they were on the verge of getting swept, and that's really, really embarrassing for an NBA Finals. So even that pressure of a possible sweep is now gone. They can go to Boston with 2 advantages. One, they're still completely expected to lose the NBA Finals. I mean, like, nobody in the world right now would bet on them to straight up win. Maybe get this game, right? Maybe win this game, but to still win the finals, everyone's still completely counting out the Mavericks. So there's no pressure on them. Here's the other thing. Sometimes when teams are up against a wall of elimination and they're on their home court, they lose because even if you win that game, you would have to travel to your opponents. Well, that's already happened now. We're already to that stage. Now, if the Mavericks can go to Boston with no pressure, show up in Boston, play some D, make some shots, role players step up, if they can steal that game, then you're going back home. It's not like there's 2 more games in Boston. It starts flip-flopping 1-1 here. So the Mavericks have 2 advantages, in my opinion. They have no pressure because they're still expected to lose. They're a big underdog. And now they know that if they can just steal this game, and they've been close, they've been very close to already winning in Boston. So I don't think it's like they feel like they have to climb a 50-foot wall. They know it's possible. And the Dallas Mavericks have been substantially better on the road all year long. One of the best road teams in the NBA. So I don't think it's far-fetched at all that these Mavericks believe they can go on the road and win. So they're going on the road with no pressure, knowing if they can steal that game, this is about to get super interesting. I mean, it's about to get real. So they got no pressure. And the Celtics, let's talk about pressure. And let's specifically talk really quick, because I don't want this video to be fucking 25 minutes. But I got to tell you guys what's going on. Some people are like, hey guys, NBA Finals Game 4. This team is 20% from 3-pointers from the corner. This team is 16% from the free throw line. This team has better rebounds. This team's the better defense. Do you want me to just read you fucking stats? You guys can go find fucking stats on your own. I'm telling you mentality. I'm telling you what's going to go down. The non-tangible shit that's actually important in these games. People throw all that shit out the window. This is real right now. And I think the Mavericks are going to come in here with zero pressure. That pressure for this Celtics team specifically is higher than most. This exact Celtics roster for the most part, but the Celtics overall, especially Jason Tatum, these guys fold under pressure. We've seen it before. We've seen it for multiple years now. And now that thought in the back of their head on their home court, where you would think they could wrap it up and put a bow on the series, think about the game 2s, right? The game 2 versus Miami. Now, I know those were game 2s and they still had all that series left and blah, 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 blah. I'm aware of that. But think about this. The Celtics, the home court screw-ups, and now that thought that's really starting to creep in the back of their head, if they can't get this game done, if they can't win this game, okay, am I out of control? You guys gotta leave some comments below. Is it out of control to still truly believe that the Mavericks can win this series? Because I want Boston. Okay. Where am I pointing? Jesus Christ. That's West Virginia University. I'm a Mountaineer. Joe Mazzulla, Final Four team, West Virginia. I want the Celtics to win, but my God, I'm so familiar with the NBA. I've watched it for decades. Sign LeBron thing from the rookie year. I mean, I have decades of watching basketball, every single game, every single year, all that stuff. This Celtics team does not deal good with pressure. And I really think this series is going to either end in this game or, man, the headlines, the media, all the things that are going to go on post game if the Celtics can't get the job done here. And that pressure of really knowing that it's this game that they got to get done, does that lead to some struggling shooting, some mistakes? I mean, basically, if you're the Mavericks, this is how the game's got to go. You don't have to win the first quarter. You don't have to win the first half. You just have to hang in there till the fourth quarter. If the Mavericks are even within single digits going into the fourth quarter, this is a ball game, folks. And the Mavericks may or may not steal the game, but I do think they're going to cover 6.5 if they can hang around. The punch, the initial shot in the mouth that I do think a very focused, defensively focused Celtics team, I think the Celtics are going to produce a pretty impressive first half. That's a little bit scary. I don't want the Mavericks to just show up and after one quarter, you just immediately know that these Dallas Mavericks were content just to not get swept. They got their one win. They know it's not their year. Celtics locked in, and you just know the game's going to be a runaway. I think if you like the Celtics, I don't think it's irrational to play an alternative spread for plus money. Maybe lay like an 8.5 or a 9.5, bump up a few more points. Because if this thing's close, they're not going to cover the 6.5 anyway. In my opinion, it's kind of like baseball. There's no sense of going money line with a big favorite. Sometimes you want to lay a run or lay 2 runs to get plus money in baseball. I think that's what we're kind of looking at here. If you think the game's going to even be close, close as in like single digits close, like as long as it's not a complete blowout, I think the Mavericks cover. I said it before. I think the Mavericks, even if they're within 10, 12, even 15 points, they can whittle it right down at the end. It should be close. The Celtics just always seem to choke, man. They always seem to choke. Maybe they can hold on and win, but if this is a competitive game, if the Mavericks show up and they're not just content to avoid the sweep and they really do believe that they can still win this thing, I think they cover 6.5. Now, like I said, if we were getting 7.5, 8.5, I for sure would probably have at least 2 units on the Mavericks getting points. 6.5, I may bet it. I may not. The clients will get the plays tomorrow here. There's already another angle I've found on this game that is extremely profitable and will be a 3-unit play. So I'm really excited for that. But guys, I'll be taking the points with the Mavericks. I think the game's going to be competitive. I like the team getting points with no pressure, who has been better on the road the whole time. That's a pretty good setup. You're going to give me 6.5 points in an elimination game, a team that still doesn't really have any pressure on them. They're expected to lose. The Celtics pressure is really getting up there. Celtics many times, man, they just can't close the door on these big spreads. Maybe they can hold on, get a win, and this thing does end in 5 games. But I'll be taking the points with the Mavericks. Let me know, guys, in the comment section below if you kind of agree with this mentality that the Celtics under pressure are just not a team I want to lay 6.5 with versus a team that has 2 capable players coming off their best game. Maybe they're getting the offense together. They still have no pressure. They can go to Boston and basically be like, it is what it is, man. We're expected to lose. We're going to show up. And they got points in their back pocket, 6.5 of them. I'm going to take the points with the Mavericks. In terms of the total, guys, just be aware. I don't know if I wrote it down. I think it was a different piece of paper here. But I believe the first 2 games, the total of the game was 214.5. And then it was 212. And then it was 211, I believe, in game 4. 209.5. Are we going to get an under for every single game? Something to consider. I'm not going to speak too much on the total because I have a very good idea of what's going to happen. Not necessarily full game, but quarters, halves, there's all sorts of ways. Team props, all sorts of ways you guys can find much better value on certain angles that still correlate to the overall play that you like in a game. I'm going to drop a pretty heavy hit today, guys. I'm feeling really good about this basketball game. I think I know exactly what's going to happen the pace of play, the scoring, which team's going to do good, certain player props. I'm going to drop a ton of plays, guys. I think if you're not on my premium right now, I think it's well worth it. Even that $29.99 that gets you a full week of my plays. I think for $30, it is well worth knowing all the plays I'm going to drop on this game. I already have at least 6 of them written down. So that is a ton of value for $30. Hopefully you guys would consider, supporting what I'm doing, hopping over to the website, grabbing a week of my picks and getting all my NBA plays in this game. And for the next week forward, I've been struggling in baseball lately, but it's still a winning record. I do plan on absolutely having a fantastic week overall, all sports. Just something to consider here. But let's go ahead and update the whiteboard, guys. I got a free play for you. Let's get that whiteboard open. I think I know what exactly I got to do. I actually only have to touch part of what's already up there. Hopefully I can get you guys to 25 and 16 for the NBA playoffs. Let's go, guys. Let's cash another one. I'm on Dallas. Give me the 6.5. I will gladly take 6.5 here. 7.5, 8.5. Man, that would feel much, much better. But 6.5, if they can just hang around, man. If they can just hang around, I think Kyrie is going to have a pretty impressive fourth quarter. I think Luka's going to be focused. I think there's certain things that are going in this game here to where it's either going to be Celtics by 25 or this thing's going to be damn close. This could be an overtime game too. Maybe a prop bet to look at, sprinkle a tiny, tiny little bit, maybe a 1/10 of a unit on yes, there will be overtime. That's an interesting prop you guys could consider. But that's pretty much it, guys. Hopefully, just for the sake of having more basketball to talk about, hopefully I'll see you guys for a Game 6 prediction, but we will make the official transition to baseball if that's the case. Baseball will be Monday through Friday, the whole rest of summer till football season. So appreciate you guys watching. As always, catch you in the next video.